Attention. Attention. A special news bulletin is about to commence. You are being instructed to turn the volume up for this special announcement from Geek News Central.
It's one more.
This is the Geek News Central podcast, part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. So grab a cup of coffee, take a seat, and crank up that volume. Because you're listening to Todd on the Geek News Central podcast.
It's Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, the longest continuous running tech podcast. This is show number 862, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Our May GoDaddy special, which is just about ready to expire, you can get 32% off at GoDaddy using promo code GO32OFF1, or get a .com for just $2.49 by using promo code GEEK249. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. And, of course, we want to say hello to everyone. You know, we're coming here to you as live as you can be, I guess, from the beautiful studios overlooking Greater Honolulu and from a very undisclosed location. Yeah, right. Hey, folks, how you doing? I'm here in Hawaii. It is Memorial Day, and I was worried. I was talking with my wife earlier today. I said, how am I in the world? Am I going to have enough content for the show tonight? And she just kind of gave me this eye roll. She says, you'll manage. And actually, we were deciding whether or not I was going to do a show today because the state, you see, the kids here in Hawaii are out of school. So what's going on over the next week is the state fair. And, you know, there's no amusement parks in Hawaii. There's a water park, but the closest thing they get to really any type of really great rides and stuff, it's just stuff that comes in like a normal county fair. So they, like that happens on every year down at the stadium. And actually it happens multiple times a year. They have the state fair, then they have the 4-H farm fair, and then they have, I don't know, a variety of different things. But, my daughter had and son had arranged, hey, this is a big time to go down and, you know, probably, you know, they're at that age where they're going to, my daughter's going to scope the guys out, and my son, make sure I get this right, my son is going to scope the girls out. And so, you know, we already said, okay, you guys can go, blah, blah, blah. And he hooked up with your friends. And then my youngest son, who obviously he's like, I don't want to go to the fair. I'm like, you don't want to go ride rides? You don't want to go, you know, do something? And maybe I'll go. So my wife took him down tonight. So I am non-participating. She had said, hey, you've missed a couple of shows already this year from different stuff. You do not need to miss another one. Go ahead and go. And I will take him and we'll have fun. So she is taking care of doing double duty today. So I'll show my appreciation to her a little later tonight. Thanking her for taking the kids and letting me bring the show to you tonight. But for those of you that have been longtime listeners of the show, hey, thanks for being here. And thanks for being part of the family. And for those of you that are new, hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. Welcome and being part of what you are now considered the Ohana and part of our family members here of this great audience. And it's real easy to stay connected with us. And to do that, you just go over to geeknewscentral.com and really just once you get over there, subscribe to the show. There's a big subscribe button there, or subscribe link on the page. And then, of course, we have the newsletter as well. The newsletter contains everything I'm going to talk about during the show. Of course, you'll be able to find all the show notes for today's show at gnccshownotes.com/862. That's where the show notes will be when we post the show up. They'll be available for you to go through. And the reason I don't put all the show notes on the Geek News Central website was I was getting penalized by Google having this long list of just 2 or 3 words and a link. And so they're all over at gnccshownotes.com at gnccshownotes.com/862 tonight. So definitely get over there and do that. But if you're new, thanks for being here. And we'll keep on moving today. We've got a great show lined up for you today. And if you are wanting so inclined to watch us on your big screen TV, you can do so via the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV. Just look for the Tech Podcast channel over there. And that'll be the way to get connected with me. You'll find me in the latest and greatest stuff on those channels. As a reminder, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Geek News. Email address is geeknews@gmail.com. And our hotline is 619-342-7365. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for you to leave comments, commentary, thoughts, ideas, news, topics, whatever you want to bring on. Feel free to do so. Of course, this, I think I mentioned earlier, but we're part of the Tech Podcast Network. 130, 140 plus shows over there, all family safe. That's the best thing. We're up live streaming tonight as well on live stream on their TPN channel over there. And we're going to be having a lot more of our TPN affiliates are going to be using the live stream channel coming in the future months. We do want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor here of the show. And I tell you, GoDaddy literally keeps the lights on here at the Geek News Central studio and keeps my Ohana fed, keeps my wife and children fed. So we want to make sure that you definitely support them because they support us in a significant way each month. And really, we've got two great deals for you, two specials, along with all of our other great specials. And it's real easy to score yourself a 32% saving over at GoDaddy.com. This is really a special offer. You got the $2.49.com, and we've got the 32% off on new orders. And you can find all that information. It's real easy if you just come over to geeknewscentral.com, scroll down the website. There's a big logo there. It says GoDaddy promo codes. Click on that. That's going to take you to a page. It's going to show you all the specials. Of course, Geek249 is that code for the 249.com. Go 32 off 1 is the code for the 32% off your total new order. So definitely check those out. And we want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor. Don't forget that we have everyday non-expiring offers as well. And there's a full list of those available. And we definitely want you to take advantage of it by grabbing a code, using whichever one seems to work out the best for you. And really, that's going to be the best way. Mix and match our codes to save money. And we want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor here. Again, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy is the URL you can use to come over to the website. And thanks, GoDaddy, for being a sponsor here. Don't forget about our contest going on with GoDaddy right now. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. We're fast approaching the end of the month. Let me look at the L calendar here. Yeah, we got one more show before the end, so we should be good. So we'll talk about the sponsors here on the next show. But let me just tell you a little bit about my schedule. I'm going to be doing the next show's going to be here live in Honolulu. We'll be doing Saturday. The next new media show this coming Saturday will be here in Honolulu. But Saturday night, I get on a jet airplane and I head to the mainland. So the next two shows will be in the mainland next week. So I don't know. My schedule's kind of weird for the next week. Got a client. I may be doing some night classes with. So I may end up doing a daytime show. I'll kind of let you guys know as things kind of get firmed up. So it's going to be loose and fast with the schedule the following week. But this week we'll be here live as we always are at the normal time here in Hawaii. But we'll be doing a Mountain Standard Time show. Anyway, I'll cover that in the next podcast. We'll talk about it then. What else have I got going on here? Let's this previous the new media show, we had on a representative from the FCC. And I think it'll become very apparent when if you choose to listen to this, that the gentleman that we had on, I don't think he was 100% up to speed on what the podcasting space is and how podcasts are being delivered and how basically major broadcast media might be falling outside of the rules per se when it comes to providing closed caption stuff. But we got a pretty deep conversation for just about an hour 10 or so. We didn't think we were going to be able to cover that much time with Elliot, but he was cordial enough to come on and got in deep about the topic. And so this is something that we all want to respect and support the folks that are vision and hearing impaired. It's there's according to Elliot, he said there's like 35 million people in the United States that can qualify for they either have to have a hearing aid, They have some sort of eyesight impairment, whatever it may be. Everything from slight eyesight impairment to completely blind. We're not talking about glasses, folks. We're talking about stuff that qualifies as a handicap. And then, of course, or disability, and maybe that's a better way to say that. It qualifies as a, a disability. So, with the closed captioning, our hearing impaired folks a lot of this media that's online right now are being left behind. And the new FCC rules are really good and basically allowing or forcing broadcasters to do closed captioning on media that is being put up on the internet. So we have a great discussion about that. And so anyway, I'll have you just go watch it. It's been posted. Also, we are having our first live YouTube live stream this coming Saturday as well with the upcoming new media show. So that should be a lot of fun. I've been doing some testing already, kind of playing with that and seeing how that's going to work out. But we also had a prize giveaway from the last show. And tonight we're giving away an Apple TV Gen 3. I've got a couple of them in a box. So the Apple TV Gen 3 is going to Danny Williams. I think Danny's won here before. The name's familiar. Danny, definitely send me your address. We'll get that shipped out to you. There is the requirement basically was this time to submit basically a review about the show and submit it to Apple TV and just or to Apple, to iTunes, just tell me that you did. We had a number of those entries come in, so we want to thank all of you that had put up a new review on iTunes on the show. I definitely appreciate it. But an Apple TV Gen 3, I think $99 value for Danny, so congratulations to him. Also, it's GoDaddy giveaway. Just a few days left on this. If you bought something with GoDaddy using one of my promo codes, send me an email with your copy of your receipt, and we'll put you in for... Oh, that was nice. Just dropped something. Hang on. Something happened. Where did the other half go? Oh, it's behind me. So anyway, we got the $100 for basically someone that send me a receipt of your GoDaddy purchase, and we'll put you in the hat for a drawing at the end of the month. Now, one thing I do want to say, we got the new Tricaster in. Last show, we were still dealing with the audio issues. So far, the audio issues, to my understanding, have been fixed. We had no problem during the live show this past Saturday. I ran the machine nearly 24 hours, did a variety of different tests. We could not duplicate anything, so it was definitely the machine that is basically sitting to be shipped tomorrow back to New Tech. So the new box is in the case, and hopefully we are beyond this and on to better things. I guess the second time was the charm here. This time they sent me a brand new machine. As far as I could tell, it wasn't B stock. We pulled the lid up and looked inside, and it looked pretty pristine in there as compared to the previous unit. When we opened it up, we could tell that it had been in for repair and probably had been in someone's rack before. So it's always cool to get what I would consider new hardware on basically an RMA swap. So considering how much this thing cost, boy, I tell you, I'm glad we're good to go. So working on making sure the audio is loud enough for those of you on the audio stream now. That's one of the challenges that we've been working through on the live stream broadcaster. But anyway, I have digressed way too long here, and I need to get into the content. But let me take care of one last piece of business before we do so, and talk about Citrix GoToMeeting and their sponsorship here of the show, and how I use Citrix GoToMeeting. You know, the people we work with the most aren't always the folks we see every day, and that's me. You know, I don't see my team only a couple times a year. And, you know, coworkers in a variety of different businesses are working on the go in different offices, and that's me right here. And clients are spread across the country and the globe. I've been dealing with a new client out of Thailand, trying to get him up to speed on a new product. But really, to work efficiently today, you have the need to have a stronger connection to your team. And you got to build trust, stay focused. You got to be able to brainstorm. An email came in this morning from a client that had some issues, and I forwarded it to my team. I said, listen, come Tuesday morning, I want everybody up on a conference call. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get this solved once and for all. And so first thing tomorrow morning, we'll be able to have a nice GoToMeeting session. We'll be able to see each other. And the best thing is that, I have them on video. They can see my screen, and we can get the point across what needs to be fixed or what needs to be, what needs to be changed or policies or whatever needs to be implemented. But it's really GoToMeeting with HD Faces is a powerful and simple way to meet online and really see each other face to face. And with Citrix GoToMeeting, your team is really just a mouse click away. You can share the same screen to collaborate in real time. You can just turn on your webcam to make your online meeting an HD video conference. It feels like you're in the same room. Launch or join a meeting anywhere using your computer, smartphone, or tablet, and you can even present from your iPad. So, I want you to try GoToMeeting free for 30 days, and this is really an easy process. And for this offer, you just go to meeting.com. Again, gotomeeting.com is the website. Click the Try It Free button and use the promo code podcast. Remember to use that promo code podcast. GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing. I want to thank Citrix for being a sponsor here. Try this product out. It's a product that I love. It's a product that I use. I endorse. It is part of my toolkit. It's something that really I could not do business without it. So anyway, thanks to Citrix GoToMeeting for being a longtime sponsor here. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to a new topic of the day, and let's going on what's in the tech world. Let me make sure I got this all down. Let's do another random prize giveaway. Let's see here. What can we do? It's something that's just a little bit different from the last couple of contests. And really, we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways. I got 3 tubs full of stuff, and I'm actually looking at 2 of them stacked up here in the studio, and I see a couple of. Let me just give you kind of an idea what's in there. I've got computer bags, backpacks. I've got a couple of more Logitech Google TVs. I've got some cameras. I have, what else do I have in here? I've got some DVD stuff, just stuff I can see it because they're clear tubs. What else is there? A bunch of small items like the basic units used for battery recharge. You can basically carry your devices around and plug it in a device. So got a variety of stuff here. So I tell you, this is just going to be simple. I'm gonna do something that's really simple. Just send me an email. Send me inside. Enter the contest, Todd. That's all you got to do. geeknews@gmail.com. Nothing special. If you want to leave a comment, that's fine. But just email geeknews@gmail.com and say, hey, entering to win on for the contest for Thursday night's show on Thursday, May 30th. And that way we'll know. After today, anything that comes in gets entered for the new show. All right, let's go ahead and get into the tech topics tonight. And let me go ahead and bounce over here. I would be remiss without saying, I did say at the beginning of the show, today's Memorial Day. And, it is said that the future is, and this is a quote that came from someone else, but they said, it is said that the future is always born in pain. The history of war is the history of pain. If we are wise, what is born of that pain matures into the promise of a better world because we learn that we can no longer afford the mistakes of the past. And this is from Michael Straczynski. And, all you really have to think about is the at the national cemeteries that are across the United States, not only just Arlington, but there are there's cemeteries across the United States that have veterans buried in it that you'll see, probably have seen today, flags flying on those tombstones if you are anywhere near one of those cemeteries. And a lot of the stuff that has been done in this country has been protected by men and women that have shed blood and given their lives. So we want to thank those and those families and those folks that need to be remembered on Memorial Day. And it is coming to a close here, but oftentimes people will remember that it's a day of doing some barbecue and meeting with family and friends. And I'm sure some people will drink a few beers, but let's just hope that at the same time, they remember the purpose of what today was all about. All right, let's go ahead and move in here. Let's get an article over on pandodaily.com talking about Google Glass in 10 years and what we could see in the future. And, we talked about in the previous show a little bit about some of the stuff that's been going on in quantum computing, and actually talked about how there was a news report about how Los Alamos Labs was running some sort of secure quantum communication thing. And, is a little bit above my brain cell level. As often is, these guys at Los Alamos are absolutely and truly, many of them are actual rocket scientists, literally. So, but with Google announcing that it was launching a quantum artificial intelligence lab with a company associated with NASA, while at its developer conference, it also talked about 7 new apps for Google Glass that will soon be available on the smartphone on your face, on Google Glass. And, so here you've got Google talking about this artificial intelligence lab. But what happens, and what the gist of this article is what happens when Google starts taking this data, for those of us that opt in and wear glass, when they start problem solving, and when they start digging through these bits of information and come up with some sort of, higher processing level that's dealing with quantum computers, if the computers were able to learn from our point of view, what they could really do is they could instantly draw on every interaction we have, whether it be online, offline, in our personal affairs. If we were wearing some sort of computer technology, the embedded part of this, and with what's coming and what is not here yet, but what's coming with quantum computing, could really change the way we live. And we would truly be AKA connected. And we would, I don't say we're going to become, what is it? And forgive me, because I am not a cyborg or whatever it's called. And someone chastised me here the other day because I completely jacked up some Star Trek stuff. So I'm not even going to try to get this right, because I don't claim to be a Trekkie. And those of you that are, you're cringing right now. But, we're going to get to the point where this stuff is going to become embedded, and who knows where it's going to go from there. But if you think it's spooky today that you buy something and then a few days later, every click that you click on, you're subjected to things that may be accessories or like type products. What if the computer that you basically were wearing not only knew your social network of friends, relatives, and colleagues and acquaintances better than you do in a blink of an eye, and who can identify every person and out to 6 degrees or more? There's all these things that marketers could do. And you got to think, what is the real purpose? If you think about what Google's doing here, what is Google trying to do? Are they trying to overhear conversations? There's got to be an end goal. There's got to be, this is just the start, but where is their end goal with glass? Everything has okay, here's a concept idea, but ultimately Google Glass has to drive you to a business. And believe me, the money that they're going to make off selling Google Glass isn't going to be crap. This is not worth their time and effort just for that. So what is Google Glass going to do for those of us that opt in? Where is this going to lead? I just can't imagine how. We're already connected, but if I was just, if we're really connected, and I'm thinking about food, and then I'm hungry, and I'm in a restaurant, if I was truly connected, and I was wearing glass or something similar, and it maybe bring up the menu, the hotel's menu, and I'd say, okay, I'm some burger and fries, and bring me up an iced tea with that, and it's order. And it just, boom, you're done. You don't pick up the phone. It just happens, right? We could come to that point. Okay, I'm walking down the street, right? And, I need to buy a bottle of water, and I'm approaching a 7-Eleven. And I say, hey, have a bottled water ready for me. Walk into the store. The clerk basically it recognizes me because of near field communications, and boom, she's got a bottle of water ready for me, and I hands it to me, and instantly the transaction happens, and I'm out the door. Or better yet, think about this. There's no one in the store. You go in, and it greets you. Go to door 22, Todd. You go to door 22, open the cooler up. There's your bottle of water. You pull it out as you walk outside. The bottle scan. No longer does a 7-Eleven have to be manned by anyone. Could we get to that point? Yeah, I think we could. And news. There could be a news feed, be always up to date, or if there's something going on and there's maybe a suspicious a package or a robbery going down, we could be alerted to stay away from that area because there was some sort of police action was happening. There could be that level of interconnectivity, or how about this? You're at a bar, you're having a few beers, and you've drove to the bar, and you walk out, and hey, the system is able to instantly say, hey, Todd, you're over the legal limit. Locks you out of your vehicle, calls you a cab. We could get to that point. So this glass, there has to be ultimately a end goal. And Google will not do this without, how is this going to make them money? So we have to really think about where this is going to go from 10 years. Do we want to be that connected? In some instances, what's it going to give us? We're already overloaded, right? So it's going to give us a few more minutes to think about or be immersed in more stuff, and we're going to have more stuff jammed into our head. Is that a good thing? To me, it's a little scary. You could get to the point where your kids are at school and you notified, hey, your kid just failed his math test, and instantly comes up the math teacher and says, hey, we need to talk. And your kids failed the math test, and I'm sending home extra work, and and I'm gonna. Do you need a tutor assigned, or if you want a tutor assigned, you can arrange that, and your Visa card's on file, and I'll arrange for after school tutoring. It could get to that point, right? Or maybe the kids don't even go to school. Maybe they're at home, and the education thing all changes. I'm kind of going off here, obviously because this is a long way off, but things could really change dramatically if the computing power that is inside what will be Google Glass is able to, let's say, a quantity of 10. Everything, when we first got our cell phones, they were pretty dumb, right? They weren't very powerful. You look at the iPhone, and you look how powerful the original iPhone as compared to the current iPhone. You look at your Android devices, and many people are no longer needing a computer per se. They're using their tablet, and they're using their mobile device. So there's all kinds of possibilities. But I think this Pando Daily article really kind of made me go, ho, ho, ding, 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 ding. It really kind of made me think about this. And so I want you guys to read this, and love to hear your feedback on this. And I'll have this article starred in the system. My phone is absolutely going ape crazy. And let me tell you what's going on. You guys know I've been playing this game called Ingress, and this weekend was large. We basically what happened, and I don't want to go into too much of the detail, but 5 of the big players on the opposing team went off island, and we noticed through the way we have comms set up that they had went to Maui. And I'm like, hey guys, these guys are gone. These are the basically the folks that are kind of the anchor pins here in Hawaii, who are like, they're on a tear. I don't think these guys have jobs. I think the only thing they do is play this game. Quite literally, they're at it 18 to 20 hours a day. And maybe I'm overstating a little bit, but really, I would be divorced, right? It wouldn't happen if I get to play a couple hours a week and like a little bit of time on the weekends. Great. because it just doesn't fit into the schedule of everything else going on. But anyway, I said, hey, here's an opportunity, guys. Let's let her rip. Because we've been running behind here. We've been getting we're really, I guess, for a better word, we're getting our butt kicked here. And so everyone did the rally call, and this weekend's been this massive trying to take over the island while these players are gone, and the players are arriving back from Maui, and people are like so there's a lot of strategy what's going on. People are like, go cover that portal, and they take it down, take it back, because we finally got a chance here to, for a better word, hold our own. We hope. I don't know. But long story short, my phone is exploding because we're all on a hangout. The entire team is on a hangout. And every time someone texts, my phone's beeping. That's why I moved it over here earlier before it dropped. But if I wasn't doing the show, I'd have a Google Plus window up and it would be there live. But sorry, I digress. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch on here to the next topic. Spend a lot of time on that. Another thing to think about, and this should make all of us cry. How rich would you be if you'd bought Apple shares instead of a PowerBook in 2003? What if? So, if you bought Apple shares instead of a 17-inch PowerBook G4 in 2003, which cost $3,299, which would have gotten you a bunch of shares because the share price was $7.57 at the time. Today, those shares would be worth $216,678. Please tell me that some of you Apple fans were smart enough to have set yourself up for life by buying stock in Apple in 2003. To me, I'll be straight up. In 2003, I had a buddy. His name was Jim Reeves. Still my friend. He lives out on the East Coast. He's a hardcore Mac guy. And I was always poo-pooing him about his Mac. He says, you just wait, Todd. And I know Jim bought a bunch of stock, so Jim got the last laugh. But what if? Oh, hindsight's 2020. We'd all be rich, right? But if that doesn't just like punch you in the face, nothing will. Over on the Telegraph at telegraph.co.uk, Eric Schmidt made a comment today that, or within the last couple of days, that made me go, just a little bit. He says, teenagers' mistakes will stay with them forever. Teenagers can no longer, and this is directly from Eric Schmidt, he says, teenagers can no longer grow up without being reminded of their mistakes because a full record of their lives is now stored on the internet. So, consequences of having a record online today is pretty significant. A couple of years ago, when I got to go spend some time with my daughter in Florida, I spent some time talking to her about her Facebook profile. And she took my advice and cleaned up her Facebook profile. But, once it's out there, right? So, but today teenagers are doing stuff and putting stuff online. And I am having to monitor my teenagers consistently now, logging into their variety of accounts, taking a look at what they're posting, warning them, invoking punishment when needed for mistakes, because teenagers are teenagers, right? And we think we're have a handle on this, but parents, let me tell you something. We have no handle on the extent of the stuff that's going on with teenagers and connectivity today. I've warned both my son and daughter about these, they call them selfies, where they're taking pictures of themselves all the time and posting. I said, I know you're in love with yourself by taking a picture of yourself. I said, believe me, most of us that grew up, at least in my generation, if we were in a picture, someone else was taking it. We would have never, ever, and I still don't, take self pictures. And I can't say I've never done it, but one or two. Usually it's a video and I'm talking to it. I guess that's a selfie video, right? But, just stuff that they're putting online today, conversations they're having is being recorded. And so if you think about a future in politics, a future in at some point we're going to have a president that's going to have had all kinds of crazy stuff put on the internet when they were a teenager, college graduate, and and I think the American public are going to have to accept that young adults and teenagers do what they do, and but the press will have a field day at that time. But it makes all of us, we need to think a little bit about the consequences of having a complete record of all youthful indiscretions online. Now, surprisingly, and this kind of shocks me, because Google's in the data acquisition business, and don't think for a moment that Google is not a data company. That's what they're all about, is collecting data. But he suggested that some people sharing personal information online had gone too far, saying parents to be who post ultrasounds of their babies online before even naming them took things overly to excessive levels. Schmidt went on to pledge that it was Google policy to erase information on what individuals had searched about after 1 year. He says, "We never had a generation with a full photographic digital record of what they did," he said. "We are at a point at which Google forgot information we knew about you because it's the right thing to do." I think it is the right thing to do, but the federal government doesn't want Google to forget. They want a profile on you. And they want Google to be able to hand data over when they, on you going back more than a year. So I think we all have to think about that a little bit and talk with our teenagers about their digital online record and have very serious dinner table, listen to me or you're going to get, one of those types of conversations that parents should have with their kids on a regular basis. You guys I call you akamai. In Hawaii, akamai basically says it means well-informed. You're a very well-informed, connected audience. I know that you have these conversations, but I think all of us, and even myself, need to be reminded from time to time how much is out there. And I'm thinking to myself too. Okay, you're getting ready to get glass, and is that going to give me the right to wear these things in the house and record stupid things going on here that happens in every family's homes? First of all, my wife's going to flip because she's not going to allow it. Number two, no, there's a certain level of privacy that we all have to maintain anyway, that we should maintain, and stuff that doesn't need to get out. What goes on behind our. First of all, most families are pretty doggone boring, right? You get up in the morning, take a shower, put on your shoes, take your kids to school or put them on the bus. You go to work. You have after-school activities. The kids are in track, baseball, basketball, whatever it may be. Any type of civic stuff you got going on, Kiwanis, whatever it may be. Family-type activities, and it's just, that's a typical life thing, right? So why does someone want to see that inside my house? They don't. But some people will. And it'll get a little weird, I'm sure, especially when you have an entire family wearing glass. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. All right, let's switch topics completely. Let's get off the philosophy part of the show. And I thought tonight would be a good night just to kind of ramble on about some of this kind of stuff because, I got a little extra time and there's not as much stuff in my stack. But actually, looking at the stack, I've got a lot. In China, Beijing is in the middle of its biggest anti-corruption campaign for years. Crooked Chinese politicians are paying tech companies to vanish from sight with all negative stories about them scrubbed from the internet. One Chinese company says it doesn't matter how big or sensitive the story is, we can make it disappear, promised a manager at Yag Times, China's largest and most notorious black public relations firms. Dozens of Chinese officials have been put under investigation in recent months, and Communist Party members at every level are worried, and particularly they fear the internet, where stories about corrupt officials often go viral, putting pressures on the Communist Party to launch high-profile investigations. I love it. It shows that the internet is changing the way things are done in China. Things can't always be covered up, but there are companies that are being paid big money to make these issues go away for these politicians so they continue their corrupt processes. I wonder if that's happening here in the United States. Ars Technica has an expose that any of you that are using a basic password need to read. Okay, so let's say you're using a password like your wife's name plus your name plus something else or minus something else, and just using common words separated by commas or exclamation marks or stars or whatever it is that you use to make your passwords. I'm telling you, you're not safe. You are not safe. Your password is unsecure. Apparently, even with a hashtag, MCD5 hashtag, hackers have about a 90% success rate in extracting passwords attached to those hashtags. This is an incredible article. And I want you to be aware here that if you guys think this is, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a good password? QEADZCWRSFXV1331. Do you think that's a good password? I would think that would be a pretty good password. It's not. It was able to be extracted from a hash file correctly. So I want you guys to pay attention to this. Read this article. I want you to start paying attention to how you're putting your passwords online, because if you are working or on a company and their MD5 file gets hijacked, your password more than likely will be exposed, even though it may be complicated. And if you're using a common password or a combination of a password, combo password, you could be in trouble in a New York minute. So take a look at the article. I have a link up in the show notes and follow it. Next time I'm in California, I want to go visit a place called the Weird Stuff Warehouse. This is where old tech goes to retire. And apparently this is up in Cupertino. It's tucked neatly between Yahoo headquarters and Lockheed Martin in a row of unmarked warehouses. To the common passerby, this warehouse is nothing more than a office park surrounded by, nice maintained lawns. But those who are in the secret, there's a place full of technology treasures waiting to be unearthed. It's called the Weird Stuff Warehouse. And for more than 27 years, it's been providing the Bay Area with a surplus of old and new technology. It's not just a goodwill for antiquated hardware, though. It's a step back through time. Inside this warehouse, it's in an era of RAID controllers were the size of a modern-day sound card, and Windows 95 reigns supreme. It's everything that you can imagine. And I'm looking through their images. I want to go to this store and for nothing else, just to look. And they have just about everything you can imagine under the sun, from hard drive, basically for hard drive cases, monitors, old type machines, laptops, old software, you name it, they've got it. And all of it can be had from $5 to $20. Yes, that's the kind of place that I just absolutely go crazy over. There used to be a place here in Hawaii that bought return stuff from Sam's and Costco, and it was fantastic. I would go there every week because there was always new stuff coming in, and it was priced reasonable. I got so much stuff. You just have no idea. I go in there and be like, oh. Next thing I get 2 or 3 things in the car. $100 later, I'm whistling Dixie on the way home. It just, you just don't want me in a garage, just not a garage sale, a tech sale. Oh, I'm in heaven. All right, Prenda Shell. Prenda Shell's been ordered to pay $9,425 in attorney fees. Oh, they haven't paid nothing. So the judge basically said, hey, you're not going to pay? Okay, no problem. We're going to put an extra $1,000 a day. Oh, no, 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 no. They had some tough sanctions already to pay $81,000. They haven't paid any of that. And those sanctions are growing at a rate of $1,000 per day per person. Whew, that's going to get expensive. And AF Holdings is ordered to pay $9,425 in attorney fees. We'll see if anybody ever gets any money. I doubt that they will. But the cash register is ringing for someone. Someone's going to get some money somehow. And it'll be interesting how this all turns out. You live in Ohio? Well, Ohio has figured out there's something dangerous in your community. It's very, very dangerous. Dangerous dens of iniquity internet cafes have been banned. Lawmakers in the Buckeye State have just banned internet cafes, believing them to be nothing more than essentially unregulated corner casinos. This move follows a ban that Florida passed in April, and several California municipalities are also getting on board on bans. Ohio internet cafes are apparently no longer places folks can go simply to get online for a few minutes. They say it's where gambling is happening. The cafes try to get around casino regulations by saying they offer legal online sweepstakes. I guess they got in trouble themselves. But Senate voted 27-6. I didn't even know. This must have been a best kept secret going. But there was 500 illegal, unregulated corner gambling parlors that had been making tens of millions of dollars by swindling the poor, elderly, and vulnerable slot players. So, someone in Ohio, tell me about these things. Was this like a best kept secret or what? All right, Computer World is saying Commission wants to turn tables on IP thieves by crippling PCs with extortion-style lockouts. Listen to this, folks. Listen. Buried in a 100-page report issued last week by the Commission on the Theft of Intellectual Property was a recommendation to copy a tactic cyber scammers use to extort money from internet victims. The IP Commission, I didn't even know there was such a thing, a private panel of politicians, military, and defense officials and technology leaders co-chaired by John Huntsman, former governor of Utah, and former U.S. ambassador to China Dennis Blair, a retired U.S. Navy admiral and former director of national intelligence. Among more than 20 recommendations, the commission suggested that companies be allowed to lock files and cripple computers. Under a heading of support efforts by American private entities both to identify and recover or render inoperable intellectual property stolen through cyber means, the commission said software can be written that will allow only authorized users to open files containing valuable information. Basically, they want to make it so they can shut your computer off. Holy smokes. What else are they going to do this? Now, this is what's called ransomware, scareware. When malware, when hackers do that, they put something in your machine, they make your screen locked out, say, you pay us $399, and you pay it by tomorrow, or we're going to wipe your hard drive. They're doing that now, right? This ransomware and scaleware, which is actually malware, cripples PC or encrypts your files. And they want to let companies do that? The commission asserted that these ransomware-style techniques are legal. Such measures do not violate existing laws on the use of the internet, yet they serve to blunt attacks and stabilize a cyber incident to provide both time and evidence for law enforcement to become involved. Holy smokes. Are you surprised? Big Brother's watching. Big Brother wants to control. Holy smokes. This is a recommendation they're making? I'm serious. What was in the water over there that made him think that? That's just shocking. It really is. All right, sold. Antique Apple One brings a record $671,000. The record price was paid by an anonymous bidder. In an interview with New York Times, auction team broker of Cologne, which sold the Apple One, said the buyer was a wealthy entrepreneur from the Far East. Wow. $671,000. Rich with too much money. Hey, in the science space, scientists have revived a 400-year-old frozen plant. Link will be up in the show notes. I'll have that up for you to check out. Pretty cool. You want to see a 400-year-old plant? I'll have the link up. You can take a look. Moon dust from Apollo 11 found in storage after 44 years. Vials of moon dust the astronauts of Apollo 11, the first trip to the moon, brought back, were recently found stored in a California lab warehouse where they'd been sitting for 40 years. Wow. There are 20 vials, all with handwritten labels. I read 24 July 1970. No idea why they end up in storage, but this is your government at work. NASA, we've had a problem with the Kepler, but NASA is preparing tests. The transiting, excuse me, I'm trying to speak English today. Transiting exoplanet survey satellite is being prepped. I have no idea. They don't tell when this thing's going to launch, but they feel with this new observatory called TESS for short, TESS, and that's the name of my ex-wife, Tess. The Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite will be following the success of the planet-hunting Kepler Observatory by identifying nearby exoplanets that pass in front or transit their stars. A small sample of these will be singled out for further scrutiny if they lie within the habitable zone of the parent star. The habitable zone is the distance from a star where temperatures on a world may allow liquid water to exist on the planetary surface. So no idea when this is going on, but NASA is moving forward with this. Hey, you live in New York City? Did you know there's a new tunnel being built 160 feet below the surface? It's a new. It's going to be called the 63rd Transit Tunnel, I guess, and I guess it's going to be a shortcut into Grand Central Terminal. For those of you that are right in from Manhattan, but it's called the East Side Project. It's going to connect Long Island Railroad to the New York Grand Central Terminal and save transit times by about 20 minutes. Some pretty incredible pictures up on Wired. And the refrigeration system they're using to keep the tunnel cold so it doesn't melt and fall in costs $1 million a foot. I'm glad I'm not paying for that one. Over on some Australian news, Chinese spies have stealed the ASIO blueprints, but apparently highly sensitive blueprints outlining the layout of Australia's top spy agency's new headquarters have been stolen by the Chinese hackers. I wonder if they're going to knock the building down and start over. So the Chinese got the blueprints for the building. Boy, wouldn't that make you feel good if you live in Australia? Oh my God, unbelievable. All right. Over the weekend, this guy does a slingshot. Yes, a slingshot. One of those things you had as a kid to pull back and you probably broke some windows or stuff with. Well, slingshots are just good for for shooting at birds and stuff. They've got one now that how to chill a beer with a slingshot. And yes, it's a little funny. Link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. In a more serious note, how sending mirror image signals could speed up the internet. A team of researchers have developed a technique which uses mirror image signals to dramatically increase the accuracy and speed of data transmission across the internet. The team explains in Natural Photonics how it's possible to send not one, but two beams of light down a fiber cable. One the normal data signal, the other is its mirror image, or more accurately, its phase conjunctive. At the other end of the cable, it's possible to recombine the signal in such a way that errors caused by noise in the signals is canceled out. The trick works in much the same way as noise-canceling headphones, so they're saying they can double the speed. Basically, the team has been able to achieve speeds of 400 gigabits per second down a 12,800 kilometer of optical fiber. Very, very cool. How many of you have ever used Ancestry.com? This past weekend, they had a free offer available to look up military records on Ancestry.com. I wish I'd have heard about it before the last show and I told you about it. But there's some good article over on GigaOM talking about the technology that Ancestry.com uses. And I haven't done any genealogy work in a while. My mom was the one that put the majority of the stuff for our family together, and we had some cousins and stuff do some digging around too. But Ancestry.com is transforming mounds of data into legible digital records. And they got a real interesting article on how they're doing that. And so we have the link up in the show notes. I'd love to hear from some of you that are actually using their service as paying to use the service, on how well it's working for you. And if you're getting information that you need and finding data, I'd love to hear from you if you've utilized Ancestry.com. What do you think of Yahoo's new Flickr? I got on it this weekend for the first time and took some time to really kind of dig through it. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on the new interface. I think for viewing photos, it works pretty good, but for managing stuff, it's a little weird. But what do you guys think of the new Flickr? All right, how the Apple TV compete with the Xbox One? Well, I don't know if they can. But Xbox, talking with Rob is having to be, I tried to get a little bit out of Rob this past weekend. Of course, he works with the Xbox team, and he would tell me nothing. He says, I can't say nothing. If I say anything, I get fired. And this is, we were still on the air. We were talking about this. And so I've tried to press him, and he just can't talk. And he's limited to, he only works in one specific area, and he doesn't have the need to know on a lot of stuff. And they're very compartmentalized over there. But some folks have become impressed with the Xbox One. And even though it doesn't have a lot of details yet, a lot of speculations of whether they're going to allow apps. Personally, I would be shocked if they allow the Xbox. I would be surprised if Xbox allows app submissions. If they do, I think they're going to be very, very, very picky. It's not going to be like the iPhone or the Android, and potentially someday in the future, the Apple TV. It's going to be very, very limited, because the Xbox is all about the money, folks. It's all about the cashola and how much, it's a cash cow for Microsoft. So we'll see where the Xbox One goes, but there's some speculation how Apple TV can compete, and I don't think they can unless they come up with their own quote-unquote TV. There's been some more lawsuits filed over Arrow-type competitors. Major broadcasters filed a new lawsuit this week after a pair of ongoing efforts to shut down services like Arrow that stream over the air TV to computer and mobile devices. In a complaint Thursday, the broadcasters ABC, Fox, NBC, Arbitron Communications, Telemundo asked the U.S. District Court of District of Columbia to issue an injunction to stop the service known as Arrow Killer from streaming their shows. So Arrow Killer is another company that's basically duplicating what Arrow is. And, of course, Arrow Killer is available from the website Film On. So very, very cool. All right, so moving on here to the next topic. Article over in TechCrunch. Are you single? Are you using dating apps? And then talk with young folks. A lot of folks are using dating apps and finding some major success with them. Not only to find friends to hook up and everything else, but a lot of guys and gals are meeting mates that way too. And I don't think digital dating is obviously something that's pretty mainstream at this point. But there's a new one out. It's called Tinder, Tindr. It's making really some inroads into the 23 age group. So if you are using dating apps, that might be something for you to check out, for you, the single men and ladies on the show, to listen to the show. Hey, drones. German railroad company is going to be using surveillance drones in the fight against graffiti vandals. So they basically are sick and tired of having to, they haven't had much luck in stopping vandalism to their train cars. So basically, they're going to launch small drones equipped with infrared cameras. We switch for overnight shifts at the Deutsche Bonn's largest train depots, flying nearly 500 feet above and up for up to 80 minutes at a time. They'll attempt to catch graffiti vandals in the act, and basically using that to alert team members on the ground to go and investigate. But hey, if you're spray painting the trains in Germany, stand by. You're going to get droned. All right, Google Maps is bringing biking navigation to 6 European countries. So this is pretty cool. Summer's primetime season for European cyclists, whether they're racing the Tour de France or really just embarking on voyages of self-discovery. And Google Maps biking directions reach 6 more European countries, those in France, Ireland, Germany, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, and Poland can now plot pedal-friendly routes using their phones and the web. So very, very cool what they've done there. Got that out. Also, if you're using a Chromium browser, the Chromium browser has got a reset feature to clean up malware messes. So they've got a way to reset the entire browser that will I'll be making into the Chrome build. But Chromium features are often advanced stuff that's being tested. So if you're using that, be aware of that. No surprise here. Another electric vehicle company, EV outfit Better Place, calls it quits and sets to undergo liquidation. So they burned through how much money did they burn through? According to the Israeli corporation, the firm's controlling shareholder, other investors willing to pitch in the vast money needed couldn't be found, with approximately $812 million lost in operations. Wow. They burned close to $1 billion. So did not get it off the ground. It was basically they're trying to have service stations that would change out batteries for you, so that you could just keep on rolling and not have to recharge. Good interview by Steve Wozniak discussing his dependency on a MacBook Pro and his affinity for transistor radios. A nice little interview with Woz over on Engadget. I'll have a link up in the show notes for you on that. All right, a couple articles over on Geek News Central that I want to call your attention to. Jen did a great article on UGO, UGO. They make little speakers with big sound, and $39.95. So it's got a good review on that. Also, if you ever use Google Buzz, you probably got an email from Google talking about how they're going to archive your data and basically put it in Google Drive. So Alan posted an article on that on Geek News Central as well. But one of the most compelling articles that was written here in the past couple of days was one by Alan Buckingham. Did Department of Homeland Security leak your personal data? And this goes into some information he's found that talks about them losing data. And this could be could be pretty big. In a statement to his website, Department of Homeland Security announced that they recently learned of a vulnerability that exists in software used by DHS vendor to process personnel security investigations. Not exactly the news any employee wants to hear, but I don't know how deep this goes, but there's good information on it on the article that Alan put together. All right, every little girl that at some point or another starts a diary. At least a lot of them do. I have one here that has done a diary for many, many years. And I think, we'll all agree that, putting data in a little book is maybe a little bit outdated. So what they've come up with is a new app, a pendant locked secret diary for Generation Raised on tablets. So basically, with this Locket, the Locket actually unlocks their diary and allows them to put information in. It's called the iHeart Locket. It's $25, a wearable app accessory that transmits a wireless signal, presumably over a Bluetooth connection. It locks and unlocks protected content on an accompanying app. The app itself lets kids store everything from photos to dictated notes with custom layouts, like an actual diary, and everything can be exported to the iPad photo album or even iBooks. So this is pretty cool. So kind of an interesting way, go digital. Again, here we are, once again, being 100% connected, sharing everything and anything. All right, my bathroom, I'm kind of anal about the sink area. I'm not ACD at all, or is that the correct? Anyway, I'm not like a super neat freak. But when it comes to like my toothbrush and uh, razor and all that stuff, it's got a place. And I've never understood why anyone would ever have a cup in a bathroom because to me, people are brushing their teeth, and you know how it is sometimes. It's just not. The bathroom gets disgusting. Let's just be straight up, right? And I'm kind of weird on where I want to put my toothbrush. I don't want it like being jumbled with 4 or 5 other people's in the house toothbrush, and sometimes my kid's toothbrush ends up in the same thing. It's just I'm kind of weird about that. But anyway, they got a toothbrush cup, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, okay, let me take a look at what they've done here. So, what they have is a cup that when you flip it upside down. Now, this is going to gross you out. When they flip it upside down, they put the toothbrush in it. Pull your toothbrush up, then you can flip the cup over and put water in it, obviously to Listerine or whatever. And then you flip the cup back over on the countertop and put your toothbrush in. They blew it on this design. What they needed to do, it's just to me is a little odd. I guess if your counter's that clean, you probably won't have an issue with this. But they did make it so that it would go both ways. It cost $11. Yeah. Get a cup for every member of your house. That way there'll be no. And also, if you've gotten a situation where like there's 3 toothbrushes all the same color, which one's yours? And you kind of look at each other like, I don't know. Well, at least this way, maybe you can keep the, her cup over there, my cup over there. It's separated. How many, honestly, have ever used your wife's toothbrush or vice versa? How many of you had to do that? I'll tell you one thing. I used my toothbrush before, and I was desperate. I was on the road, and I had basically got in late, taken a shower, brushed my teeth, and just kind of pasted my hair back. I really didn't need a comb or a brush. I went to bed. And next morning, I got up, and I'm a morning and night type of shower guy. Took my shower, got out, brushed my teeth, and went to reach for my brush, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, I got a comb in the bottom of my ditty bag, and I opened up and I looked, and there was no comb there. And of course, I'm kind of thin on top as it is. So I'm kind of did the finger thing. I'm like, that's gonna look like crap. And I looked at my toothbrush and I go, okay. So I comb my hair with my toothbrush. If you have thin hair like I do, you can. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't reuse that toothbrush for my teeth. I bought another toothbrush. But I've had to do that twice. Twice in all the years I've traveled, I have forgotten a brush. And if your hair's not real thick like mine, you can get away with your toothbrush being used as a brush. So that's probably one of the weirdest things that I've ever used a toothbrush for. You run it with water, it's clean, and you do it. But, when you obviously it's after it's scraped your scalp, I don't know if I want to stick it back in my mouth. So I'd always go buy another toothbrush. But too much information. I know, TMI. But anyway, I thought I would share with you this toothbrush cup that is available via for $11. You can get one. All right. How many of you have friends that just don't know their way around an automobile? If they don't understand, if you tell them, okay, does it have oil in it? And you get that like steer in the headlights look. Well, there's a new app. You can be a mechanic with a augmented reality app. So this is a clever augmented reality app from InGlobe Technologies. It's still in development. And basically, even the most clueless driver will be able to easily maintain their vehicle, maybe even have a chance of fixing a problem themselves. And it was demoed on a Ford, and pretty cool video. Pretty cool how they've done this. So, again, not available, but definitely for the uninitiated on vehicles, this may be a way for you to get a little bit educated and figure out what's going on with your car when you're having a problem. All right, we have gotten to the point here, we don't use those little pod things for coffee. We still, either grind our own or whatever it may be. We don't cook our own coffee beans, but we basically do grind our coffee here. And so I was real excited to see this article about this new coffee maker from Krups. It's the Krups EA9000. It's an automated espresso machine. And really what you can do is turn your kitchen into a private Starbucks. And I don't, if I go in Starbucks like once every couple of months, that's like a norm. I don't go in there and spend 5, 6, 7, $10 on Joe with them. I just don't do it. So this barista in a box is a self-contained coffee grinder, drip espresso maker, and milk frother. And who it's for is those who want pro quality lattes. I think, boy, wow, this is fantastic. I'm reading through the review, and I get to the bottom of the review, and how much is it? $2,500. Huh? $2,500? You have got to be kidding me. That's a lot of lattes, folks. I got a coffee maker that will froth milk, that I can make espresso, and I think that was under $100. This thing, sure, pushing a button, you just being lazy. This thing, $2,500. I can buy the best espresso machine that requires a little manual labor. I can buy 10 of them. $2,500. Someone has got more money than common sense. It's for my house? No, thank you. All right, for the survival folks out there, solar kettle boils water using nothing but solar energy. This is something I was looked at. I got to have one. And if you are if you basically are looking for some additional survival gear, something that's kind of unique to take camping, $35. Wait, let me bring this up. And what it is, again, it's a solar kettle, boils water using nothing but solar. And it's not very big, maybe 12, 15 inches tall. And again, it'll basically take 2 hours to boil cold water. And so, it's not something super fast, but in desperate situations and survival situations, it worked really, really well. And, go out in the morning when I have some cocoa in the afternoon or maybe some water for soup or something like that. Perfect. You don't have to do a fire to do it. So definitely something that's going to be on my list. All right, how about a quadcopter RC car? This thing is really, really cool. But just like anything else of these types of items, I would more than likely crash the stupid thing. $605. You can get yourself a quadcopter RC car, and it flies around. But another cool gadget, another thing for you those that like these little flying helicopters and stuff, a perfect option for you. A couple last things over on Gizmo. Ladies, you're not the diamond type. If you're a techie, you may love this. One of super geeks out there designed a bright engagement ring. This guy built an induction-powered LED engagement ring for his fiancée. And this is pretty slick. And basically, the guy started out by designing and developing a circuit that would be able to power up the ring inductively. In the end, he used a coil of wire wound around a Kaplan tape as the inductor and a small SMD capacitor to power up 3 tiny ultra bright LEDs. And this is really slick. This is how he did this. A video shows it. It's really cool. I'm sure most of the ladies in this audience would prefer a big rock and in the 0.5 to 1 or 1.5 carat types. Oh man, I'm going to tell you, fellas, those of you that are single, the whole diamond business is a mystery to me. And I'm going to be honest with you. The ladies love diamonds, but you are going to pay and pay and pay for that rock. So start saving now. Finally, the last thing I want to show you guys is something. It's a 3D printer. It's called Material, and this thing goes against the laws of gravity. And when you see this thing and how it works, it's really slick. I'm going to show it to you. You'll be in the show notes. You can basically um, watch the video, and I think you'll be as amazed as I was. Now, I think it's a little overkill for what it does, but it's a gizmo, and someone thought it up. All right, let me go ahead and get into the email comments today on what we have from the show. Let's look here. When was the last show? The last show was last week on the 23rd. And let me go to GNC to the comment box. Let me scroll this up and go to the 23rd. Got an email from, was it the 23rd? Is that the right date? Because I already read that one. That one came in early. Okay, here we go. Got an email from Dino. This is a little late. He said, hey, you mentioned apps. Since it's likely 90% of your listeners have a smartphone, perhaps a 3 to 5 minute talk about listener-suggested apps and games might be cool. For example, I use Appy Geek for all my tech news. It's a hands-down and excellent app with readers, moods, on articles, categories, etc. I can't imagine not having it. It's at mobilesrepublic.com/appygeek-en. I have a link up in the show notes. Dino, thanks for that. Again, it's a cool one. That's what you guys got to do. You got to share me that kind of stuff. I appreciate it. Got an email from Near. Thanks for your email. I know that it's not what you sent me was not for the podcast, but I do appreciate it. I got an email here. Oh, this is Henry caught me. He says, aloha, Todd. Hate to break this to you, but stormtroopers are Star Wars characters, not Star Trek. He says, also, the free screen capture software is Cam Studio. Oh, very cool. So Henry's out of Livonia, Michigan. And actually, I think you're right there close to them, aren't you? But I just lost my geek creed, right? Geek license. Stormtroopers are I'm as bad as the president. The president did something like this recently, right? I already claimed not to be a Trekkie, okay? Or Star Wars. Stormtroopers are Star Wars. Yes, okay. I knew that. I'm I'm an idiot. Got an email from Jeff. It says, hey, the copyright reform we need is to make everyone else copyright cops. This is basically an article from Tech Dirt. I'll link up in the show notes on that. Thanks, Jeff. Got an email here from Alan. He said, oh, this is actually, that was in the wrong inbox. Got an email here from Emma. Todd, the geeks behind Vuze, VUZE, one of the most popular BitTorrent clients on the internet, took a nostalgic look back at the history of file sharing and put together a pretty cool interactive timeline. The more literal forms of file sharing, like floppy disk and mixtapes, are covered in addition to the forms of file sharing they use today, like torrents. Since Geek Pride Day is tomorrow, which I did not know, we missed. I thought you might get a kick out of it. If you like it, share it. So I am going to share it. So I'll have that link up in the show notes. Thanks, Emma, for submitting that. I appreciate it. Got an email here from Paul. He says, hey, Todd, in reference to my last email regarding how you pronounce 2013, I finished listening to your last podcast. And it's not just you that says it that way. It was no way I meant personally. I think most Americans say it like that as well. In the UK, most people still say it 2013. However, since 2011, this way of pronouncing has become more popular and more popular. The BBC and many other people are using 2013 and not 2013. Also, I've been always referred to 2000s as 2002, 2007, etc. It's time for us to all start pronouncing at least the year correctly, Paul. Yes, you are in my competition. Thank you so much. I know you're not a grammar Nazi. And also, you still wouldn't pronounce the year 1989, would you? Laugh out loud. Yeah, I guess. 1989. 2013. It just sounds so, I don't know. It just flows better. I got an email from Dale. He said, "Hey Todd, I'd like to see you add a segment on how your family uses tech in your personal life. For example, you've talked about cord cutting to save money. How would do you watch shows? Do you subscribe to Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Roku and place a cable to lower the cost? How come someone how can someone find live shows / networks to watch like BBC America international programs? As you guys, as Dale, as you know, um, when I went to CS a year and a half ago, my wife turned on cable again. But we're back to the point. I keep saying this, but we're close to cutting the cord again. We are using Hulu, we are using Amazon Prime, we do use the Roku. A matter of fact, my kids love Doctor Who, and they watch that exclusively on the Roku. I like watching Game of Thrones on. I think I can watch it on Amazon Prime. Just have to go to different because and not everything's available on all platforms, so you kind of have to pick and choose. Or is it Hulu that I get Amazon? Did I get? No, I think. Oh, I know what I do. I get Game of Thrones because we do subscribe to HBO. I use the HBO app to watch Game of Thrones. So it's just kind of a mix and match of how we get stuff. What I really like to do is cancel HBO because I don't watch it very often. I only watch a couple of programs on HBO. I'd like to be able to just pay, $4.95 a month or $9.95 a month and get HBO that way to get access to the programs I want. And then when they don't have good programming, cancel. So that's kind of what we do here. But I'll be sharing more with you. Thanks for that as a segment idea. Definitely appreciate it. Okay, we're at the end. Where are we at on time? I can't see where the clock is. Oh, we're long. All right. Hey, everyone, thanks for being here. And as always, at Geek News on Twitter, geeknews@gmail.com is the email address. The hotline is 619-342-7365. It's been my pleasure to bring you the show today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so very much. Don't forget our sponsors. Really, really don't forget them. Take care of the sponsors. They take care of me so that I can continue to do this great show as we do it today and have all the whiz-bang stuff that we have here and do that. Your support of the sponsors is critical. It is critical to this show's success. If you want to see the sponsors go away, though, become an insider by going to geeknewscentral.com/insider. And I don't know if you could see it or not. Those of you that are watching, I'm wearing a polo shirt with a USA flag on it today. Thought it was appropriate to have that part of our Memorial Day show. And but I want to thank everyone. I had Jets on Jetstream 2K on chat. Thanks for being here. I think everyone else probably is a big weekend. So I want to thank all of you. And if you're in Hawaii and you want to play Ingress and you want to become part of the resistance, send me an email. But I'm only sending invites. I'm being stingy at this point. I'm only sending them to Hawaii because it's very area specific. And so that's how it kind of works. I apologize for those of you, the rest of the United States that want to invite, hook up with your local Ingress community. And this is Android only. I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of fun. It gets you out, get you some exercise in a big, big way. All right, everyone, take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha.